Hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Talkin Grizz. This is our off-season edition. We're going to talk to media around the league about the NBA draft, prospects, and the future of their team. So right now, all the way from California, I have got the Warriors beat writer from the San Francisco Chronicle, Connor Letourneau. Connor, thank you for being here. I was going to say this morning, but today, it's today for me.
It's morning where I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's morning in California. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So I kind of feel what you're feeling right now because last year, obviously, the Grizzlies had the number 2 pick. We only had like a 6% or 6.3 or something percent chance of getting that. You guys had a 13 point something percent. So how did it feel on lottery night when you guys, your name continued to not be called and then eventually got that second pick?
Yeah, I think for the Warriors, I think they were very they're basically bracing to get the number 5 pick because even though they had the worst record in the NBA last season, they had almost a 50% chance of getting the number 5 pick. They only had a 14% chance of getting the number 1 pick. So I think in total they had like a 26% chance overall of getting in the top 2, which is not nearly as likely as getting number 5. So for them, getting number 2 is a win. They're really happy about it. I mean, obviously they prefer to get number 1, but number 2, there's a lot of options there. I think there's a lot of guys in this draft who they like, who they'll be able to get at number 2. So I think overall they're feeling good about it. I mean, and I think they're still shopping the pick too as well. So there's a lot of possibilities. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple months.
All right, so you brought it up. The Warriors had the worst record so far, or this last season, in part due to the huge injuries that you guys had, like Steph and Clay both out. Coming back into next season, though, you'll have the full squad ready to go. So in this draft, do you look for, a good player that you could potentially trade for that could help the team this upcoming season? Or do you guys try and look for, a young player who can kind of bridge that gap into the next big Warriors squad?
Yeah, I think in an ideal world, given that this draft does not have a generational prospect like a Ja Morant or Zion Williamson or that type of guy, I think there are guys in this draft who are going to be all-stars, maybe even perennial all-stars, but it's just not as obvious as it was a year ago. Given that, I think that they would prefer to trade for an all-star caliber player if possible, but I don't think that's probably going to happen. I just don't think the market value for that number 2 pick is quite where they'd want it to be. And I just don't see a scenario where they're going to get that kind of offer. So I know there's been a ton of speculation about them trading the pick. I think it's more likely that they end up trading back in the draft to like the mid to late lottery and take someone they like, maybe like a Sadiq Bey out of Villanova, maybe if they can, like an Isaac Okoro out of Auburn. And then using that and maybe also getting a rotation caliber player or another asset, another draft pick. So there's a lot of options, but I do think there's a better chance than people think of them actually just keeping the number 2 pick and using it and taking maybe someone that a lot of people think is a reach, like a Denny Avia out of Israel, or maybe even a Tyrese Halliburton. I actually don't expect them to take LaMelo Ball or James Wiseman. I know that's crazy, but my sources indicate that they actually have a different draft board than a lot of other teams, and they don't value those 2 guys as much as other teams do. So, yeah, it'll be really interesting. But if they did take, like, hypothetically, a Denny, I think they would hope that he would come in and play an immediate role in the rotation, probably 6th or 7th man as a rookie. And then they would actually potentially try to package him in a bigger trade at the trade deadline next year for like a Joel Embiid or a Bradley Beal or a Giannis. So whoever they take, if they do take someone at number 2, it's going to be important not just for their short-term prospects, but also a potential trade, which is the ultimate goal. They want like an all-star in his prime to pair with Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond, who are all in their 30s.
Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, excuse me. Like, you guys haven't won enough championships.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is to get Giannis, you would probably have to part with Klay, which would be tough. I mean, it would be tough emotionally for the Warriors. But when you're talking about Giannis, I think you got to do what you got to do, right? I mean, he's the best player in the NBA, and he's only 25. So I think you do it.
All right. Wow, Connor, this was really great insight. Thank you so much for your time today. Where can we find your work and you on social?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at @con_cron. Follow my work at sfchronicle.com/Warriors. Also have my own podcast called Warriors Off Court. Give it a listen on iTunes.
There we go. And if you want more Grizzly stuff, Grizz Nation, you can find more on grindcitymedia.com.